If you know someone with a breech baby, send them this video and then send them to me. This is my wife, and she came in about 2 weeks ago because our baby was breech, and that was diagnosed on an ultrasound. Here I am trying to set the table up to accommodate her belly, which is cool that our tables do. But basically with a breech baby, we typically will adjust the pelvis and then work on what's called Webster's Technique that you'll see a little bit later. Once the table lays her down, you're going to see me start to work on her thoracic spine. And here we are there. For those of you who like a nice sound, you're going to get one soon. Chiropractic is safe, easy, and effective during all stages of pregnancy. I would recommend checking with your OB just to see their opinion, but my wife was 35 weeks pregnant here and got a ton of relief from the adjustment. And so the important thing when you're pregnant is to have the pelvis and the lower back in perfect alignment, because ultimately when the pelvis shifts, it can pull on the round ligament of the uterus, and that can change the baby's position. So here I am checking her legs to make sure that the leg length is nice and even, which kind of dictates the alignment of the pelvis. And you can see I'm saying here that that looks nice. Just kind of rechecking the lumbar spine here, and it looks like we found something. And so at this point, usually I'll have the patient face me, and now we're going to just try and get that lower back into alignment, and I'm sure we're going to get a nice sound out of that here. Right there, let it drop. And so now we're going to have her flip onto her back so we can get a good look at her neck and make sure that's in alignment. And for those of you who love crack, you're going to love this one. And here I am just checking to make sure everything else in the neck looks good, and we're great. So what you're going to see me do now is the Webster Technique, and here I am searching for the round ligament of the uterus. When I find it, you will know. Typically, it's not the most comfortable, and there we go. And we just ask her to kind of breathe through it a little bit as I kind of pin and hold it, and that will release just like a trigger point. It's pretty cool. But basically, when the pelvis shifts and when that ligament becomes tight, it causes the baby to flip into the improper position, so head up instead of head down. And by doing this, oftentimes we are able to get the baby to flip over. And rotate. Typically it's about 10 to 15 big breaths before we get it to release, and typically it takes about 24 to 48 hours for the baby to flip. So here we are bringing up the table after doing the procedure. The baby did flip, spoiler alert, so really cool to see that. And my wife had been having pain in the front of her pelvis with a lot of pressure, which kind of also tells us the baby was breech, and so I'm glad we were able to help.